the dumber, the smarter, the dumber. What does that even mean? Why do idiots feel like they're so smart, and why do smart people feel like they're so dumb? You're gonna learn why in this video. In fact, I've discovered that the people who know the most about a thing feel like they know the least. But the people who know the least feel like they know the most. And if you don't believe me, just go have some teenagers and you will find out in short order. Well, the reason that's the case is because when it comes to any subject, it could be science, it could be math, it could be how planes fly, it could be cars, it could be business, it could be sales, it could be financial literacy. When it comes to knowledge, we all have a knowledge base, and our knowledge base around any subject always begins very, very small. By the way, this illustration is to show you a concept and an idea. This is not scientific. There's absolutely zero science in what I'm about to show you. This is just an illustration to show you a point. Well, on the outside of our knowledge base are a bunch of little vacuum tubes that I call idea receptors. And there are a couple of dozen idea receptors on the outside of our knowledge base, and those idea receptors are like little vacuum tubes, and they can suck in the knowledge that's immediately around our knowledge base. But there's all this information out here that our knowledge base is not even aware that it's not aware of. Not only is it not aware of it, it's not aware of it, the fact that it's not aware of it. But the knowledge base, the knowledge that's just outside our knowledge base, our idea receptors suck it in and like, oh, that sounds interesting. And then we learn a lot more about that subject, and then our knowledge base gets bigger. Well, as our knowledge base gets bigger, the surface area gets bigger, and now we have more idea receptors because a larger surface area can now hold more idea receptors. And so our knowledge base gets bigger. We now know more than we used to know, but because we have more idea receptors, we feel like we know less. Oh, this makes so much sense. This is why the more I learn about a subject, the less I feel like I know. But I'm amazed because I'm taking these high-level guitar lessons right now, and I feel like, man, I got it. I've got my triads locked and loaded. I've got my minors and my thirds. I got all this stuff locked and loaded, all this music theory, and then all of a sudden he says, okay, now I'm going to show you something else. I'm like, because I didn't know how much I didn't know about music until I started taking high-level guitar lessons. And guess what? So these idea receptors come into the knowledge base. It's right outside of them. And we suck in that knowledge, our knowledge base gets bigger, and when our knowledge base gets bigger, we have more room for more idea receptors, and now they're coming in contact with even more knowledge. This knowledge base right here had no idea this stuff existed. It certainly has no idea this stuff exists. I know it sounds crazy, but people actually pay me $40,000 an hour to coach them. Not so long ago, I coached several dozen entrepreneurs for a couple of hours, and I did something really, really special. I recorded that coaching session. I had the recording transcribed, and then I wrote an entire book based on that coaching session. So if you wanted to hire me for 2 hours to coach you, you could pay me $80,000. Or you could buy the book from that 2-hour coaching session. It's called B.O.S.S Moves. B.O.S.S is an acronym. It's not about me being bossy or you being bossy. It's an acronym that stands for Business Optimization Success Secrets. When you learn the business optimization success secrets in this book, your business will change. Will you be the next boss who makes the boss moves? If so, go to bossmovesbook.com, get your copy today, and congratulations in advance for your success. And this is why we have to be hyper intentional about what we are going to focus on, because we're going to suck in a bunch of knowledge, and if we're sucking in knowledge about nonsense, we're pretty much wasting space in our experience of life. And what would be so much more beneficial to us and the people around us and the people around the world is if we become hyper intentional about what we focus on just outside our knowledge base. Then we bring in a whole bunch more knowledge. Now we got more idea receptors, and this thing keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and more surface area, and bigger and bigger and bigger, and more idea receptors and more idea receptors. And the bigger your knowledge base gets, the more you know, but the less you feel like you know. Who do you think feels smarter? The person with a knowledge base that's this big, that's coming in contact with all this information they don't know? Who feels smarter, this person or this person? This guy definitely feels smarter because his knowledge base is full, and there's less around him that he's aware of that he doesn't know than this person. This person is so aware of how much there is they don't know that they feel like they know nothing. This is why the best learners, the people who learn the most, are always incessant, insatiable, like learners, always reading books, always attending seminars, always learning the next new thing. Why? Because we can't help it. The things we know create an environment in our minds where we have to know more. By the way, this is not just true about me and you. It's also true about the people that we serve. It's also true if you're an author, this is true about the people you write books for. If you create courses, this is also true about people that you create courses for. If you have a mastermind, this is also true about people that you create masterminds for. Because what happens is when we're creating this content for people and they're becoming more aware of this information that you knew that they didn't know and they didn't even know they didn't know, they get addicted to your content. And that's why when people join a high-level mastermind, they'll stay in it for years and years and years and years at a time, and they'll come back and like, I was here last year, but this one's different. Well, the reason it's different is because hopefully the people that you're reading books, the authors whose books you're reading, and the coaches whose masterminds you're attending, their knowledge base is growing. And at the same time, your knowledge base is growing. And so the first time you attended the mastermind, you came in contact with all this knowledge. The second time you came in contact with this. The third time you came in contact with this. But as you're growing, their knowledge base is also growing. And so the whole thing keeps getting bigger because wisdom is infinite. We can fill up our minds with knowledge and wisdom for 152 years if we live that long, and we still will know nothing compared to how much there is to know. And this is why the dumber somebody is, the smarter they feel. And the smarter somebody is, the dumber they feel. So if you feel like you don't know anything, congratulations. That means you're probably learning something. But if you feel like you know everything, you might just want to pick up a book. Thanks for watching.